today, got to do a bit of maintenance on the Miata. Got to replace the rocker cover gasket because it is leaking. So we're going to replace that. Hopefully that will solve my oil problem. So first I'm off to Super Cheap to get some supplies. So we'll go there now and get everything we need and should be good to go. So, got everything we need. I've got new rocker cover gasket ready to go onto the car. Some sealant from Super Cheap just to get the edges of the gasket, just seal them up a little bit tighter. So first things first, get your pliers and take off the vacuum valves. Now you do want to be careful with these because they can break. We're going to unscrew these bolts. Next things are to unscrew these back two screws here. So I reckon they're a bit bigger. Yeah, 12 is much better. So, got all the screws out. Next, let's take the spark plugs out, the ignition packs. Take these out. And just make sure they're numbered so you can remember pretty easily. 1, 2, 3, 4 it goes, but just chuck them down here. I think it's ready to come off. Oh, it's really hot. That is disgusting. So everything looks good. Just going to scrape out the gunk. You can use one of these tools or a flathead if you don't have one. Just gonna scrape out all the gunk from the old rocker cover gasket. And hopefully don't get any in the engine. You gotta be very careful. You don't want to put anything in the engine that's not meant to be there. All right, so cleaned out all the gunk, well, most of it anyway. It's pretty hard to get some of it off, but yeah, cleaned out most of the gunk. So now I'm just gonna go clean the rocker cover gasket. So we'll go do that now. Go chuck this on top of the engine for while I'm not here so nothing flies in there. Fantastic. Just gonna spray it down with degreaser, if this pump will work. Really? I have no clue why this is not working. All right, so, got degreaser, just gonna spray it down. So let that sit for a little bit and kind of eat away at all that. We'll try and take this old gasket off. Give a little bit of spray down. Still looks pretty gross, but let's clean the top while we're at it because it's pretty nasty. Is this stuff good for paint? We'll find out. Well, we'll come back when I am installing it back into the engine. I'm now gonna have to take these off, these two, the vacuum, I don't know what they're called, but the vacuum compartments, because from cleaning them, they have water in them, so we have to take them off and make sure they dry out, which I didn't realize, but you know, it happens. So we'll come back once this is all scrubbed down. Let's see how we go. Here's where we are at. I have used gasket sealer to put back on the ventilation things. I don't know what they're called. It is now very dark outside. Didn't expect this to take very long, but I'm gonna put the rocker cover gasket back in now, put some little bits of the sealer in the corners of like little areas that you're supposed to put it in, just to make sure that it seals up properly on those corners. Then we'll put it back in the car, let it sit for a while to cure a little bit, and then see how we go. Hopefully get this done. So we're just gonna put a little bit of this on edges like here, just to really make sure it seals properly. We've got the new gasket. I don't know if that's going to focus, but we just check for any tears on it. I did check before, so I think we're all good to go. We'll just chuck it in. Now you want the right orientation. This one's pretty easy because there's like one bump on this side and like two on the others, which is pretty easy to figure out, but you know, always double check and make sure. Line it up. You want to push it in as firmly as possible, just to make sure when you put it back into the engine that it doesn't roll or like slip out, because if you like clip the edge here and it comes out a little bit and it pulls it out, that's going to be a pain in your ass. Time to put it back in the engine, I think. Now let's take a closer look, just make sure we didn't roll that seal at all. Looks good to me. All right, back on there. Now you're gonna wanna torque these up, and let me get the exact torque measurements because it's very important to torque these up to spec. All right, so we're gonna do just 60 inch-pounds. So I am lucky enough that my dad goes biking and he has a torque wrench for his bike that goes to 7s. All right, so we're back a couple of days later. I put the rocker cover gasket back on the engine and the car is running fine. We have no leaks, so that's good. It took a little bit longer than I expected. I was getting a little frustrated towards the end of putting it back on, but ended up getting it on and getting the car running that night. One tip I would definitely give if you're gonna do this or anything similar, in fact, anything you're gonna do on an engine, just do this. I don't know why I always forget, but wear gloves, because the sealant maker got on my fingers and didn't come off for days, even after like scrubbing. It doesn't come off. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I didn't have any big problems, and for now it seems to be running pretty well. So I would encourage people who haven't done this before to give it a try themselves. Just make sure you're looking up your torque specs and checking if there's any bolt patterns, as there was a very specific bolt pattern I had to do on the engine. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. So let us know if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.